Hello, America. My name is Robert Holliday. Um, I'm on here. It's like 5:50 in the morning on a Monday. Um, haven't gone to sleep just yet. I'm a bit of a night owl, but I wanted to put on this video to talk about President Biden's President Biden, and he is trying to pass his COVID relief bill. And in doing that, he introduced minimum wage of being $15 an hour. Um, and I would like to voice my protest in that. um, I know, of course, that he means well and everything. Uh, I definitely do believe that any adult that is working should be making like $15 an hour. I definitely agree with that. However, for kids, for youngsters in high school or whatever, haven't even finished high school, um, $15 an hour is too much money for them. Um, Kids, beginning to work out in how do you say Taco Bell or at fast food restaurants. Um, $15 an hour is too much. Um, it'll hurt small business a lot. Uh, I believe that the maximum should be $12 um, an hour for the minimum wage. Um, and even with that, I think that it should be gradually introduced um, within the next year and a half. Because right now we got to do some climate. Well, I don't know. I guess we can probably introduce that like right now, but I don't know. That's something we could figure out, talk about a little bit later. Um, but the $15 is stupid. To be honest with you, it's stupid. A better choice, I believe, if we're going to help out the American people, is to cut the interest rates on credit cards. We have interest rates on credit cards. A lot of them starting at like um, 15%, going all the way up to like 20, 30%, some crap like that for credit cards. These companies are charging way too much on the credit card fees, and a lot of people are using credit cards. I am one of them, um, and that would be a lot better use of the government's time to do that. In addition, um, I would also not be cutting or counseling $50,000 in student loan debt. Like, I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at all. That would be a massive amount of money. And then what about those that didn't take out the debt, that were smart enough to take out uh, grants or to apply for scholarships and things of that nature? Um, you know, do you give everybody else $50,000 to, so they can go blow on colleges and not graduate or whatever? You know, um, I don't understand that at all, at all. So that to me should not be that should be a no go, both on the college and also on the $15 an hour. Um, Again, the better thing would be to cut the interest rates on credit cards. Also, to stop the rapid inflation on housing prices. You'll see in a lot of major cities, New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, San Francisco, Seattle, all of these major cities, Minneapolis, in which the high cost of living, the Boston, Jersey, you know, all of those cities and states, they have way too high costs of real estate. So a better choice of action for the government to do is to stop allowing businesses and people that are foreign nationals from coming in to buying up our property. We should cease that immediately to aid in bringing our housing prices down, and also to help to get some of the homeless people out of the streets. So in addition to banning them from the foreigners from buying real estate, we also need to make sure that we cap the amount of rents or amount of increases that are allowed on rent, because in terms of the bills for a lot of the people in those major cities, they spend sometimes half, if not more than half, of their money on rent, and that's what's leading to a lot of the people that are sleeping in their cars and also on the sides of the streets because they can no longer afford rent. So we need to control rental prices, and that it would be a much bigger help for the American people than to set the minimum wage at $15 an hour. That is over double what the current minimum wage is right now. That is over double the current minimum wage is right now. That means that at a minimum, every state within the union, that means even Puerto Rico, that means Alabama, that means Alaska, that means wherever little knick-knack woods spot, if you want to hire somebody, you would have to pay them a minimum of $15 an hour to work in your establishment. You're not going to be in some spots making that much of money to be able to support those wages and also support yourself. And what many people do not realize is that it's a lot more than just the $15 an hour that you're actually paying as a business owner in order to for that employee to actually get paid that $15 an hour. Because that employer has to then pay what do you call it? Gosh, what is the thing's called? I guess it's like unemployment tax. You got to pay the Social Security taxes. You got to pay different like the disability insurance as well that you got to pay, and then you got to pay for the insurances and everything as well. You're having to pay a lot more than just the $15 an hour that you're paying for the actual employee. You have those other fees that you will end up having to pay as well. So that $15 an hour, depending on what state you're in, can end up being $19 an hour, $21 an hour that you're actually having to dish out because of the different other fees that you have to pay the state or the federal government in order for you to, have the Social Security taxes paid for, and the unemployment taxes and everything paid for and everything as well, and FICAs and all this other stuff. All of that doesn't just be paid by the employee. The business owner also has to pay some of those taxes and fees as well. So that is other things that we have to consider. And I mean, you have a lot of small shops that are hiring like kids or whatever to work, And for you to make them have to go from $8, $9, $10 an hour all the way up to $15 an hour, that is an exorbitant expense. And when you factor in all the extra fees that goes in on top of that $15 an hour, that makes it very impossible to do to start businesses as a small, mom and pop little place. So I would think that I would implore people to take a better look at this, and also to take a better look at the other options that I set aside in terms of reducing the amount of interest rates on the credit cards. Because you look at right now, all the businesses and everything, they have access to 0% interest rates or 3% interest rates, things like that. But for the average consumer, when the interest rates and everything gone down, that didn't really change anything with the credit card interest rates. Because the credit card interest rates, they automatically put it at 14, 17, 19% plus whatever prime or whatever it is as well. And then if you relate and everything, they add more things onto it. And in addition, and one other thing that I would say would be very good for the government to do as well is all of these excessive bank fees that banks have on that greatly affect people that are in lower incomes, like bounce checks fees, or overdraft fees or something like that, and all these things that are probably like $25, $30, $40 or whatever, that is being taken out of the poor person's account, to which that can accumulate, and those fees are exorbitant. The banks are just charging them just because they can, just because the government is allowing them to charge that. There is no legitimate reason for them to charge it, none at all. And so the banks are just getting rich off of a lot of the poor people. That needs to stop. Where all of these, payday loan places, all of those places need to be stopped as well, because they're charging like 30% or whatever for loans. Getting rid of those places, limiting the amounts that credit card companies can charge on interest rates, limiting the amount that banks and credit card companies could charge on overdraft fees or late fees and all these other things, that would help to relieve some of the burdens that is all on the people's backs right now. But for you to raise the minimum wage from $7 an hour, $7.45, $7.75, all the way to $7.45, the $7.25, sorry, is the federal minimum wage. But for you to raise it from $7.25 all the way up to $15, it's not good, especially where we're at right now in terms of the economy and everything as well, and the want and the desire to pick up the economy at a faster pace. Pushing in at $15 an hour is a bad idea. So I hope that people will listen to what I had to say. If you have some opinions, definitely put your opinions down below. But like I said, it isn't that I'm trying to keep people from making money. It's just that I think that it is a better way to achieve the same goal. And the goal is to alleviate some of the financial pressure that is on people if we do the things that I suggest. And for the last time, I say reducing the amount of interest rates and credit and fees that credit cards and banks can charge, and also we can increase the minimum wage to $12 an hour as opposed to $15 an hour. if we do those things, oh, and I'm sorry, the other thing is um, keep the foreigners from purchasing property, and also um, limit the amount of or the percentage that rent can increase per year, or per 10 years or something like that, because it's not just the people that are working that we have to think about. We also have people that are in fixed incomes as well. We got senior citizens, we got disabled people that and we have um, like Section 8 programs and everything as well. The more that we allow these prices for real estate and the rents and everything to go up, that is a bigger drain that is going on people that are disabled, people that are on Social Security, and also the governments as well, your local governments and federal governments, because that money most of the time goes to the county, but it is paid for out of federal dollars. So, we would be doing doing a lot better if we were to look at those options. Um, Let me know what you think. Hopefully, you can pass this along to some of your Democratic friends and everything. Um, and hopefully we get some better decisions made in Congress that will be more in line to help them produce some growth. Um, and speaking of growth, sorry, it's been what has it been, a month now, and Joe Biden hasn't increased the taxes on the rich people yet. Um, I think you might want to do that at some point. You've been in there for 30 days already. Increase the taxes back on the rich. They have to not only pay for that last tax cut that they had, but also they have to pay for the wars and everything we've been fighting for the past 15 years that they never had any kind of increases to help pay for, when they are the ones that are actually benefiting from not only wars but also this economic crisis that we're in right now as well. So we need to increase the taxes all on them so we can get some more money in the coffer, so we can actually do more programs to support the people that are needing the help right now, because America is going to get broke by expending all these expenditures on things, and we're not getting the tax revenues that we need to have, that we were having, that we need to have, and that we are going to need in the future. So, taxing the rich, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, we're waiting on you, darling. Y'all, it's 30 days in. Y'all can do something, can't you? All right, I'm out of here. Peace.